Day 35 of the second run of 100 Days of Making Comics. I'm Ox, and this is where I talk about how I worked on my independent comic I Never Forgot for at least 30 minutes out of the day, doing it for another consecutive 100 days after my first run. We're going to get to Kickstarter business in a little bit, but first I'll tell you how I worked on the comic. I spent about 3 hours already putting together the PDFs of the third issue. I have all but one page done, so I got it all bundled up, sent it off to the printer. I will be able to throw in the last page after I get proofs back, so I'm not too worried about that. So after I did that for 3 hours, winding down for right now, kind of got my thoughts gathered for the Kickstarter, and I have a few disclaimers. If you're looking to use Kickstarter to get rich, it's not going to happen. Kickstarter is good for a couple things, which is marketing. You're not going to find a better source of marketing just for the pure the pure tools that are given to you to set up a campaign. The actual presence it has on the Kickstarter site, and then after it is successful, unsuccessful, you can still search for it and set up a timeline for the book or project, whatever you're doing. With that being said, Kickstarter is good for marketing. It's also good for funding printing physical books. As far as looking to get paid for working on projects, that's what Patreon's for. You're not going to get that with Kickstarter. I've had 4 campaigns on Kickstarter. I've also done one on Indiegogo. Indiegogo's good for campaigns, getting paid even if they're not successful. They're good like that because if you're not sure if you can make it with the project, at least the people that want to support your project can actually put the money towards your project. With Kickstarter, it's not all or nothing. You either hit your goal or you don't. If you don't hit your goal, you don't get any money. None of the funds get taken from the pledgers, and you don't get any. You don't see any of that. But if it is successful, they take about 10% off the top. 5% of that is their cut. 5% is just like processing all the fees and whatnot. So, and they will hold that for 2 weeks. So don't be looking for that payday right after getting that. So plan somewhat accordingly. With the 3 Kickstarters that I've had success with, I have not had any money left over from those. Just because there are costs you're not ready for the most part, and with all the planning, you can plan till you're blue in the face, but there's going to be costs occurred with everything else. Especially books. With my first Kickstarter, I overshot my goal by $800. I set it for $200 to do the first issue. For this, I was just planning on doing just a regular floppy copy. With all the extra funds, I was able to test various different sizes and proofs of the book, just to get the perfect look that I wanted for it. That actually ended up costing me about $200. Checking proofs, checking companies, trying to find a printer that worked just right. So with my Kickstarters, just this year, I've done the 3 campaigns. I did one in April, I did one in June, and then I did one just this last month here in August. I started out, the first campaign ran for a month. Second campaign, I knocked it down to 2 weeks. And then this third campaign, I knocked down to 1 week. The 1 week run was good for the case that it wasn't so much stressful because it was 1 week and I was done. But the double-edged sword of that is it didn't get much public views just because it was only around for a week and not many people. I mean, it was hard to jump on a project without any foresight like that ahead of being able to get that much ahead of the game. I did do a Kickstarter, would have been last year, starting to fund an art show I was doing to get prints done for that and whatnot. Wasn't successful. I did go over to Indiegogo, and that's how I got the one moderately successful over there. I have backed 22 projects. 3 were previous to this year, so 19 so far this year. A lot of those are comics and art books, and mostly artistic ventures from actual artists. With my first Kickstarter, I was able to go from just a regular floppy copy of my comic book to expanding it to get it perfect bound, which is the binding. Makes it look good. Makes a nice, easy book. But to have that perfect binding, it takes 48 pages. And when I set this first book up, it set the precedent for all the other books. It roughly cost me about $7 to make a book of this. And then I sell them for about $10, so $3 for shipping. I'm basically breaking even on them. Just because any funds from those go towards the next book and funding. The book cover itself is a gloss cover, UV protection, and the printing setup costs. All of that together is a good $200 itself. So the more books I can get printed at one time, the cheaper it gets, just with the setup costs. But I can't do much more than I'm able to make on these Kickstarters. I've been averaging making a comic every 2 months, so I'll make one for 2 months and then send it off to get proofs, and then I will, when I am doing that, I'm tending to be running the campaign. So then when it ends, I'll have a 2-week break where I can do finishing touches and whatnot. So as soon as funds are released, that 2 weeks after it's done, I can pay the printer, have them print them off, ship them to me, and I get them as quick as possible. A lot of projects you're going to see are 2-3 months in advance. And that's alright for them. I just can't worry about trying to get something done and put out and trying to keep everybody on board with that. So I like the system I have set up, or have set up for myself over these last 3 campaigns. It's working well. To be almost finished with it as the Kickstarter concludes. So I have 2 weeks to play with, getting everything right so I can get them made as soon as funds are released. A lot of people are showing this proof of concept mentality, which I don't know. That's fine for them. It's not fine for me. I'd much rather be very close to being done with it and have something physical to show, rather than just, hey, trust me, because most of the time you don't know me in person, I don't know you in person, and asking somebody to put their hard-earned money and trust into a project is a lot to ask these days, for certain, because there have been a lot of stories of Kickstarters getting funded and then just going away and not updating anything and just taking the money and running. Which, don't be those people. Definitely don't be those people. As I said earlier in this video, the third is sent off to the printer, so the proofs are going to be coming. So very soon I will have 3 issues. And you can check those out on my Big Cartel site. I'll put the link down below. The pre-order is up for the 3rd issue. And if the pre-orders will go until the books get here, and at that point I won't guarantee them to go out with the first rush of issues that I'm sending out to Kickstarters. You can get sketches done in those as well. All of them have a regular and a variant cover. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ordering more variants. It seems that I have maybe 5 of the first issue left, maybe 10 of the second issue left. After I fulfill this last Kickstarter campaign, I'll have to reevaluate and see how many issues I have of each. But let's get back to the real newsletter stuff, or the real Kickstarter stuff. So being this far out, if you're going to want to use Kickstarter as a platform to market and get the books that you're making publishing them yourself, you're going to want to build an audience. The number one most important thing I can tell you is to start a newsletter. I did 2 art shows on my own last year, and to start them, I just kind of kept everybody up to date with everything I had going on with my paintings and stuff. So I started my own newsletter, and I've been doing it for about a year now. And with all that experience of doing a newsletter every couple weeks, has just made me able to communicate with people a lot easier. They see what I have going on, what my plans are, and it builds up some of that trust that I'm going to follow through with what I'm saying. So after you're done watching this video, go straight to MailChimp, sign up for an account, set up everything, and get ready to start sending out your own newsletter. Send a link to your friends, send them to family. I know MailChimp will link to your Facebook account or like a fan page, and we'll put a thing on the side, but it's not, you can't see that from mobile devices, but if you're on a regular computer, it'll be a tab on the side or at the top. It'll just be an email sign up. You can find that on my Facebook page, facebook.com/theoxenplayground. You can sign up for that, or you can shoot me an email at samuraiox@gmail.com. I'll put the links down below. If you send me an email, I will be sending my own newsletter out in a few days after I do these Kickstarter videos. Just to get everybody caught up on date on everything I've been doing the last month or so. So if you want to check out what I have going on with that, I suggest you emailing me, telling me you want to subscribe to the email newsletter. I will put you on that. The good thing about MailChimp is when I first started sending out newsletters, I was sending them out personally, and I didn't want people seeing who all I was sending them out, so I was sending out 10 to 15 individual emails at a time and loading all that stuff, getting it all tidied up, and then sending it out to a single person every time. Really is a hardship. With MailChimp, you can put a whole list of people. They won't see everybody that you're sending it to, and it seems like its own individual, its own personal individual email from the person that's sending it. So that's why I like MailChimp. It's free to up to like 2,000 subscribers, so it gets traction, and they have a lot of different setups. I've made my own newsletter banner for it. I think I send about 3 progress pictures every month, and then I have like a chunk of just updates and info. And the good thing about a newsletter is not a lot of people are shying away from Facebook anymore, and it's so much harder to get in touch with people that you want to be in touch with, that a newsletter is just an easier way to get a hold of people, and people that want to know your updates can readily have those available to them. So go sign up for a MailChimp account. Send me an email telling me you want to subscribe to my email list. I'll put you on the list. You'll get a newsletter in a few days when I send it out after all these Kickstarter videos. So that's number 1 on the list. Building support. You have to be authentic as you can. I was watching a video the other day of Kevin Cross's, and he was talking about motivation and whatnot, and it goes back to that adage where a lot of bands want to play just for the experience of playing, and you have to have that mindset and mentality, that you'll put on the same show for 5 people as you will for 5,000 people. That's one of the biggest things, and you just have to step out onto the stage, and as he so eloquently put it, you have to play your fucking guts out. I have stepped up to the plate with that mentality this entire year and this whole process with the comic so far. There are going to be 13 issues with a 3rd one just starting off, or just being sent off to the printers. I'm hoping to get 2 more done this year. I think that'll put me on a good track to have at least another 5 or 6 done next year, and then finishing up that following year. I'm not sure how I want to do the trades yet. I think I might go every 4. I was thinking about going every 3, or every 5, I mean, but I think I'm going to have to scale that back to 4, which there's a lot of things on the insides of the individual issues that you're not going to get in those trades, so I want to make them their own unique experiences. Not because I'm greedy, I just want to put time and effort into making each experience different, that they get this robust story about all those details. Let's see what other notes I got. The good thing with the newsletter is you're able to write down your thoughts, look them over, process them, and it's a lot easier than just throwing mindless dribble out in a video like this. I've had to look at my notes a few times. Obviously, having everything written out is a lot harder and difficult to convey, being live with a video. And another thing I've been watching a lot of Jason Brubaker stuff lately, and he has a great book called Unnatural Talent. I suggest you check it out. Audiobook, regular book. You can get it on Amazon and whatnot from his site. I think he has it on Gumroad as well. But check those out. Unnatural Talent is the title of the book. It's so good, so full of information. I watched a video of his the other day. It's got a lot of great information, but you always have to be putting your best foot forward. He was talking about he sees a lot of artists putting out subpar things, and if that's the only thing somebody sees of your stuff, it might turn them off. So you want to make sure that they're seeing the best that you're putting out there every time they find something of yours. That's going to do it for day 1. I just mainly wanted to get you this idea of getting a newsletter put together. Like I said, I will be putting together one in a few days. You'll be seeing what I do, what I tend to send out to people. The good thing about MailChimp is you can't necessarily send it from your phone, so you actually have to log onto a real computer upload everything like that, and then send it off via an actual computer, not just a phone or tablet. There are a couple of applications they have, like MailChimp Snap. I can take a picture, write a little excerpt, and send it off to a regular list. But I tend to appreciate using the computer and seeing what needs to be fixed and everything else, and resizing everything that needs to be resized. So yeah, sign up for a MailChimp account. Send me an email to samuraiox@gmail.com. Tell me you want to sign up for the newsletter, or you can go to my Facebook art page at facebook.com/theoxenplayground. And if you're on a regular computer, you'll see it off to the side. It says email sign up with a little envelope. It might be a badge on the top. I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. I think it's off to the side. Get a newsletter started. It's the easiest way to convey what you're planning on doing, what you have done, and it really gives a sense of trust you start building with people that want to know about your art. It really gives you a sense of these people wanting to know more and you wanting to show them everything that you're working on. So that's where I'm going to leave this one for today. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking a little bit more of getting everything in line and ready to start your Kickstarter campaign. These are probably going to go for about 5 days. If you have any questions about a Kickstarter campaign, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will be checking those regularly for the next week or so. I tend to not check them so often, just for the simple fact that I'm uploading a video every day, and then I will get notifications when I sign on my computer to re-up the thumbnails and whatnot. But I will be checking those regularly for questions and anything regarding Kickstarters. I'll probably do a updated Q&A around day 40, I'm sure, or day 45. So for the next 5 days, I'll be doing Kickstarter stuff. So if you want to know anything about Kickstarter campaigns, leave them in the comments below. Send me that email, and I'll check in with you for day 36 of the second run of 100 Days Making Comics tomorrow. Later.